It's time for the Humor Highwire.
Okay, yeah, so here's the dumb thing that I did. Right now, as of this recording, it's like right in the middle of tax time, but I did my taxes early. I like to do them early and try to get them out of the way so I can, be finished with my crying and get on with my life. But I got a letter in the mail. It was a good thing. I got a letter in the mail saying, hey, you overpaid your taxes. We're going to send you a check in the mail. You're going to get a deposit or something like that. It said that you should see a deposit in your account. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. We're going through the mail and things of that nature because we only check it like once a week because most of the time it's just trash. And it was that letter and like two other things that weren't trash. So I thought, my wife was going through the stuff that we opened today, and she was like, oh, hey, there's this thing here that says it's from like a .gov, and you didn't open it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't open it because it's one of those things that looks like it's a real thing, but it's just like one of those predatory loan offers kind of a thing. And she's like, are you sure? I think it might be like a real thing. I think you should open it. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'll open it and make sure. I open it, and it's a check for several $100s from the IRS.
That predatory IRS money.
That I was going to throw out.
Oh, no.
I was just going to throw it away. And the next thing that happens is my wife looks at me and she goes, this is why I have trust issues.
Now, question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Are you not W-2'd?
So little peek behind the curtain. I am W-2'd for my main job, but anybody who knows me knows I have 7,000 jobs that I work, and all of those other jobs are 1099 Schedule C or whatever they are. So I have to pay taxes on my own with that stuff. And you're supposed to, if you make over a certain amount, you're supposed to like do it quarterly. Which I did for the first 2 quarters, and then I didn't do it after that. So here's the crazy thing. I ended up paying penalties when I did the taxes. I ended up paying penalties, but then they were like, oh, hey, that money that you paid us the first 2 quarters, you didn't have to do that. So, because you paid all your taxes right now. So here, have it all back.
And then you almost threw it out.
And then I almost
Straight
threw
in the trash.
Yeah, this is my silly goose moment of this week. You guys
can give that money to me if you don't want it.
You're good.
Wait, I'm good. No, you should say you're. That's not how that works. That's not the saying.
What's the saying?
Well, usually it's I'm good, not you're good.
It's also a way of saying the same thing. You're good is like that's something that you could say, but you're gonna stay over there. You're good. You don't need to do that.
Well, I'm not doing anything. It's you. You're giving me the money. So I will be good.
I will give you my 2 cents all day long.
I mean, that's not 0 cents, so I guess I'll take it. It's free.
Fantastic.
But is it better than 1 cent?
Welcome to Humor Highwire, everybody. Nope. What? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Humor Highwire. I am Ian, and that's all I'm going to say on the matter.
I am also Ian, and
Me
I might
too.
say more on the matter. But there's a little bit of nuance to that.
Yeah, there's some gray area. I also really love green. You know what else I love? Education. Philosophy.
Yeah, this is Humor Highwire, and we do high-grade edutainment and all that sort of stuff. It's great.
It's time for the Humor Highwire.
So, on the docket today, for your listening pleasure, we have a few Would You Rather questions, and then we also have some super serious, which I think we've only ever done one other time on the show. So
we've done it twice. We've done it no, this might be the 4th time.
Really?
Have you ever run it?
Oh, you know what? Now, the first time we did it, it's in one of the lost episodes. That's why. Yeah.
Don't talk about those. What lost episodes?
Yeah, yeah, because the first one you ran it, I did it. That's right, and then Matt did it. So that's why you're doing it this time around.
I've also done this before.
Okay, well, I guess
Well,
I
it's
don't
come
remember.
full circle, I
Yeah,
guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
In the
So
lost episode, I guess.
yeah. All right, so we'll start with our would you rather questions. So let's get into
Okay.
that.
Would you rather?
So who wants to go first?
well,
I'll do it.
Oh, okay.
I'll do it for sure. I'll do it. Yeah, no, it's okay. guys. Sorry.
maybe I could do it.
Yeah, no, me. Everybody be quiet. Nobody talk. Nobody say a word.
Nobody
Okay.
say anything on a podcast.
Yeah, everybody shut up. Everyone, listen. Would you rather?
Yes. Yep, that was good. That was a good one. Round of applause for
That's it, everyone.
AedanGraef.
Would you rather
AedanGraef.
fight? I didn't even introduce myself this episode. By the way, I'm AedanGraef, also known as Justin. Would you rather fight 10 clowns with a week to prepare, or one clown but you never know when he's coming?
That's crazy. I didn't know you were gonna pick that. That's insane. I had no idea.
Wow, way to bury the lead there. Okay, I usually jump in on these.
Yeah.
Well, I usually jump in on these first, but I'm choosing not to do that this time. One of you guys give your answers first.
So would you rather fight 10 clowns with a week to prepare, or one clown but you never know when he's coming? You know what this reminds me of?
The snail question.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It reminds me of the snail question. You never know when he's coming. So I guess my follow-up question is this like the snail? Is he like always coming?
Like, is
And
there
I
a
have to-
conceivable time, like, when the one clown could show up? Or is it just like, at any moment in time, you're sitting on the toilet, clown pops out with a knife? Like,
Yeah,
I think that's exactly what it means. But like, is it forever? Do I have to deal with this forever? Is there always a clown looming over my shoulder,
or is it just one clown, one time?
and then I kill him?
And then, and then once
yeah,
it's done, it's done.
It's a one-time thing,
Okay,
but it
so,
could be any point the rest of your life.
So, do you have to end the clown, or can you just defeat it in a fight?
Well, if you don't stop him, he could recur.
So
I feel
right,
like that's
what's
within the
So,
scope
the
of possibility.
the question is fight 10 clowns or one clown. It doesn't say to unalive one of them or 10 of them.
Yeah, what's happening here?
Well, listen, it doesn't say you're only fighting them one time. The question
What?
doesn't specify that. It says, would you rather fight 10 clowns with a week to prepare, or one clown, but you never know when he's coming? It never says this is a one-time fight.
I think it implies it's a one-time fight.
I don't know.
I would hope it's a one-time fight. Otherwise,
I don't
you're
know.
like
Because, like,
choosing
what are you
to
fighting
die.
10? Yeah, were you fighting 10
Is it
clowns
once a
every
week?
week?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying...
Time to gear up for my weekly clown fight.
No. Clearly,
Hey, Dad,
clearly,
what are you doing?
Be
I'm
quiet,
training, son.
Get under the bed.
I'm reloading my makeup remover gun.
What's going on, Dad? They're coming. You hear just clown honks in the
Yes.
driveway.
The window breaks. No, Dad. I thought last week.
So Your house is your house is super tall, and you have really narrow staircases, so their giant feet can't get up the stairs.
All right. Well, I'll give the first answer
for this.
we haven't given an answer yet. I'm gonna pick the 10 clowns with a week to prepare, and here's why. I'll buy a gun.
Are you gonna rig your front door?
No, I'm just gonna.
you're gonna call the
Excuse me, it was
police?
the back door.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like in this hypothetical situation. If we're fighting to the death, I mean, like, and I get a week to prepare, I don't know how I lose.
Yeah, there's a lot of open-endedness to this, because what's stopping the 10 clowns from also having guns? So,
Well,
like, I would assume.
listen, who said I play fair?
Look, I'm assuming that in this fight, you're not trying to kill each other. I think it's just like, who gets knocked out first kind of style.
Okay,
you know?
so here's what I do. Here's my new plan. My new, safer plan.
Mhm.
You know, I have a week to prepare. So I go to the municipal building and I say, hey guys, I got 10 clowns that are trying to beat me up. Can you, like, come to this location at this exact time? There will be 10 clowns there, and they're probably going to try to beat me up. Can you just, like, arrest them all?
They can't arrest them until they're actively beating you
I'll
up. 'Cause
tell
until
them to
then, they've
hide
done
out.
nothing
I'll
wrong.
tell them to hide out, and then I'll go fight the clowns.
Okay.
I just don't see a way where the 10 clowns are winning this.
No, I mean that's fair. So here's the thing. I will take the other side of this. I will take on one clown, but I never know when. I'm assuming it has to be a male clown because it says you never know when he's coming. There are female clowns, first of all. But anyway.
Have you seen one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they exist.
They
What?
exist.
What kind of question
yeah.
is that?
I've never seen a female clown.
Well, you haven't lived, my friend.
What?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, they're a good time. They're
don't
funny.
say it like that.
They're funny.
Yeah,
They're funny folk.
They're very entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would hope so. They're a clown.
Yeah.
You know, gender has nothing to do with if you're funny or not.
Nobody said that it did.
I can't believe you would imply that.
Nobody implied that.
So here's the thing. I'm going to
Don't do this.
I'm gonna take the one clown, but you never know when it's gonna happen. Because here's the thing. There are obviously very specific portions of your life where you are much more vulnerable to attack than others. But you can always like carry a taser in your pocket.
Yeah, stay strapped, my friends.
So like
Concealed
know.
carry,
Yeah. If you are in a state of situational awareness to where the point where like, you're always on the lookout for somebody who would obviously be the thing that's trying to fight you, because there aren't just clowns out in everyday life. So there's that. And there's also like, you have to think about things like they're not just going to appear, right? So like there's no like voodoo magic happening in this question where they're just going to apparate while you're sleeping. So they'd have to like break into your home to be able to get to you, which seems highly unlikely. So as in like, I don't think the clown would choose to try to break into your home. They would try to like attack you out in the open because there's very little that they have to go through to get to you. So I would say I would do the one clown, and then just anytime I'm out, I just act the way that I normally act, because that's just how I was raised,
Well,
for better or worse.
well, what if I told you that there's some nuance to this?
There's always nuance to everything.
Yeah, so what if that one clown is Pennywise?
Pennywise is a demon, not a clown.
Well, he looks like a clown.
Yeah, but he's a demon.
Okay, what if that one clown is the Joker?
The Joker's not really a clown.
You keep saying that these clowns are not clowns, but, they look like clowns, they smell like clowns. Like, if we're actually fighting real clowns, I really don't think...
There's a lot of strands of philosophy that suggests that one's clownness determines how much of a clown they really are.
I've seen a clown.
Joker has a lot of clownness about him. One could argue that would imply that he is in fact a clown.
Okay, cool. But he's also a fictional character.
Yeah, and?
We're talking about individuals that exist in the world. You're going to take like the most heinous example that you can of a clown that doesn't even really exist and go, but what if it's this guy who can make crazy poison gas and explosives out of jack-in-the-boxes?
Right. I get it.
This,
All right, I
but
get
this
it.
is
I
a
get it. All right,
hypothetical
Listen.
situation.
No, he's right. So hear me out. What if it's the Riddler?
What? The Riddler's not a
The
clown.
Riddler's not a clown.
The Riddler's the Riddler, but also like, again, a fictional character, like not
So
a thing.
okay, I understand. Clowns aren't real.
No, clowns are definitely
Yeah,
real.
No,
I
I've
see.
never
That's what
seen
he's
one.
saying. Like clowns don't exist.
The individual known as the Joker and the individual known as the Riddler.
Because it's a concept. I get it.
known
Because
as-
the clown is like a concept. Like people dress
Yeah.
up as them.
They're not
Like,
really
They're not
clowns.
actually a real thing.
No,
Like
clowns
it's just
are a real thing.
it's just
No,
the
clowns are a real
philosophical
thing.
entertainment entity.
I don't think so.
That
you
is
just
the
told
clown.
me they're fake.
The specific examples that you gave of fictional
Listen,
characters are fake.
Either Pennywise and the Joker are real, or clowns aren't real.
That's not how that works.
That's exactly how it works. That's how it works.
It's a logical fallacy.
It's not. It's not a logical fallacy.
It 100%
and
is. It 100%
I'm telling
is.
you it's not, and everything I say is truth all the time, 100% of the time. either listen, if clowns aren't real, why am I here?
So I didn't get to provide my response to this question. Um. So,
Yeah, 10 clowns in a week or one clown sometime never.
So my answer is going to be one clown at some point. And here's my plan, okay? What you have to do is you have to like just start like speeding up preparation immediately. And you could do this very simply. You go back to your home and you just start like throwing things around, right? You knock your dishes around, you knock your fridge over, you break your windows, you start ripping your blankets and sheets apart, you shred your pillows, you go in and you start laying out some, whatever candles, things like that you might have, you start putting those out, right? And you just, every day you just light a bunch up. And you just try and ignite them, make sure you keep candles lit at all times. And you start putting up pictures of clowns, as much as you can. Like you print them out and like start taping them to your walls, like around the house, like in different spots. Maybe create like a little shrine of sorts, like in your home. Scatter a couple rose petals like in different areas.
We're doing the Steve Rogers thing again. What's happening? Where?
No. This is going somewhere. And then, you just like really make your home inviting to the kind of clown that's probably going to be showing up. And then you're ready. You're ready for them when they arrive.
How is that at all helpful?
It's psychological warfare, It's going to do a number on them. Trust me. Okay?
Okay.
Trust me, bro.
Okay, sure. Do you want to go, Matt, or should I go?
I think I'll go.
Okay.
All right.
No, we're not going to talk about that?
No,
just
because
gonna move
you
on?
just went.
No,
you
we're
just
just
went
gonna
on
move
a.
on.
Yeah, you just went on a rant about.
No, wait,
creating
come
like.
on, guys.
Oh, you want me
Engage
to
with that? Come on.
No, I fell into this trap once before. No, not doing it.
All right, I've got a really hard one for us. All right.
Okay. Is it? Would you rather be a fish that swims?
Wait, that was a thing we did, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was dumb.
All right. Would you rather eat foods that have never been cooked or only eat cooked foods?
I have an answer.
Why?
I also have an answer.
How is that possible? All right.
I have an answer.
Go ahead. I think there's some nuance to this one.
No, there's really not, honestly.
Yeah.
Go on.
Cooked foods.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with cooked foods.
All right, cool. I like that answer.
Because the whole raw food diet thing, I mean, number one, you do you, but evolutionarily, the way our bodies work, nothing but raw foods is not good for you.
Great. You can't have salads anymore.
Cool. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm alright.
You also can't have sushi. I
hate sushi.
I guess you
That's
could
not
have
true.
you could have some. Well, you're right. There are some cooked sushis, but you can't have the good ones.
You can still have ramen.
Woo! That's been cooked twice actually, so I think that becomes uncooked.
That's not how that works.
Around. That's exactly how it works.
That's like
Twice baked
the law of
potatoes.
negatives.
That's not how cooking
refried
works.
beans.
That's not how cooking works. I
Hold
said
on.
twice
Simple
baked
math.
Potatoes.
Who? Right. I'm gonna take us on a tangent because this is bothering me. Who came up with refried beans? Who did that? Who was the one?
I like how you're just insinuating that it was a single person that did it. Just like,
Who did?
I fried these beans and now I'm going to mash them up and fry them again.
James P. Refry.
It pisses me off that someone came up with that. I just who sat there thought, hey, fried beans pretty damn good. You know what would make them better? If I mash these puppies up and I put them back in again.
Yeah, I mean that's not nearly as weird. That's not nearly as weird as the first person that took the milk of like a cow or a goat and just drank it. Because why
Yeah,
not?
that's a good point. Yeah,
It's one of my favorite ones to think about.
Picked the thing off of a bush and went, that's colorful. Let me eat it.
well that's natural. You don't just take things and put them in your mouth.
We've been over this.
Yeah, I know.
What's your answer? What's your answer, Matt?
Well, I'm gonna leave that up to speculation. But listeners, if you could email us, tell us what you would choose.
No, we should do a Spotify poll.
Yeah, I'll do a poll. Cooked or foods or raw foods. So my no, they don't. All of our 2 listeners don't know. So my would you rather? It's not anything crazy. It's pick one of the 2 awful scenarios. So each of these things, you're in a place with 10,000 poison dart frogs.
All right.
The would you rather is, would you rather be trapped with 10,000 poison dart frogs in a flying airplane with the cockpit sealed off, or in a sealed submarine with situational controls also sealed off from you?
All right. I have my answer.
Okay.
Okay. I choose the plane.
Why?
And here's why.
Okay.
The danger is not the frogs. We know this.
Do we?
Because yes. Do you think? All right. Why are poison dart frogs dangerous? What's the difference between poison and venom?
And venom. If you touch something that's poisonous, it can kill you. Venom is injected into your body. Poison dart frogs secrete stuff onto their bodies, so when animals eat them, they die. You can also just from having a poison dart frog touch you, you can get the poison through your skin. Yes, they can kill you. And if there's 10,000 of them, you gotta know you better do something fast, or you're gonna have a really bad time for the next 10 minutes and then nothing else ever again.
I'll be real. Poison dart frogs not really that dangerous unless you're eating them. Don't eat poison dart frogs.
Are you just making that up? Are you just saying that?
Yeah.
Yo.
But
Okay.
I
made the mistake of thinking, maybe he's actually got some knowledge about poison dart frogs that I don't have.
Trust me, bro.
My source is trust me, bro. But
totally
still,
safe.
the survival rate on a plane is definitely higher than a submarine.
How do you know that?
Trust me, bro.
Dart frogs on it.
Well, either way, you're dealing. No, the poison dart frogs are the constant. I thought.
Yeah, they are. There's 10,000 poison dart frogs
dealing with them
either in the submarine or in the plane.
Yeah, I'm taking them in the air, man. They're coming with me in the air. I would definitely rather be on a plane than on a submarine. 100% sure.
Okay.
I mean, have you ever, seriously, have you ever heard of a plane crashing? That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
What about a submersible named Titan?
Yeah, because you know what? Which one happened more recently?
Omitting submarines not built by the military?
In the U.S. Which one happened more recently in the U.S.?
In the US?
The submersible or the plane?
The submersible's not a submarine. I don't know what you're talking about. That's kind of crazy.
An actual submarine, like a military grade
a
submarine.
military grade submarine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those things that have been doing the thing now, not
All right,
necessarily
change
those,
the question to a submersible.
The plane.
Well, a submersible. Yeah, at that point,
Change it to the Titan.
No,
Change it to the Titan.
No, because
you're on the Titan or you're in the plane. Now that's the would you rather.
See,
would you rather be on the Titan or be driving the Titan?
But that doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
Because the
Wait,
Titan...
I like this one better. This is the new would you rather.
The Titan's a lot smaller than a military submarine,
would you
so
rather
that doesn't make any sense.
Drive the Titan, or would you rather be riding the Titan?
I guess just fuck
Matt,
me,
you
I
go
guess.
first.
Ian, I want to hear your answer to the
wait, let's
airplane
get
or submarine.
I would take the submarine because there's sealable hatches.
You said we're sealed in the cockpit.
No, you're not in the cockpit. You are sealed off from it, so you can't go and fly the plane.
Oh, you go in the bathroom.
Okay.
And you
Either
just
way.
slide that little thing closed.
I would choose the submarine because there's sealable hatches.
Well, there are parachutes on the plane.
Maybe. If you can get to them through the poison dart frogs, sure.
They're in the bathroom.
They're not.
You ever seen what's it called? That one with Steve Carell where he was a spy?
Yeah, that movie.
Yeah, that movie. They got the parachutes in the bathroom for the spies.
Accurate movie. Yeah.
For the spies.
Yeah.
It's true.
Passenger airplanes don't have parachutes.
I know that movie.
They do for the spies. Didn't you see Get Smart?
Yeah, Get Smart with Steve Carell.
Oh my God! Call up Steve Carell right now and ask him.
He's coming on the pod, actually.
Steve Coral? What?
Steve Carell, yeah, call him too.
Okay, well, I guess we just completely bypassed my question. It must have
No,
just been a
we're
really,
not.
really bad question.
No, I answered. You answered.
I have
Now-
an answer too.
Yeah, your answer is change the question to something
No, I'm not
else.
changing the question. I have a real answer.
Okay.
My thought is that you guys are both going about this with the wrong mentality. My thought is everybody's dead. They're gonna die. So
What?
my hope is that we get to the death quicker and the least painful way. I think that dying in a plane is gonna happen quicker. And less painfully than dying in a submarine. Depending on how deep the submarine is. Like, if the submarine's real deep, then it's probably about even, but you can't guarantee that. Whereas, in most likelihood, the plane is going to be high up. So, I'm going to take my bet on the plane being at a decent enough altitude that I'm going to kick it real quick. So, I'm going to go with the plane being the choice, because by the time that we all die from poison dart frog, the plane will careen and hopefully kill us, before the effects get too bad. That's my hope. So that's what I'm going with.
Does the plane have a sink?
I would assume it does in the bathroom.
Okay. All right. Does the submarine have a sink?
Again, I would assume it does to some degree.
It's probably one of those
You're not
push
dying.
on the. No, it's one of those push on the pedal and it gives a little sploosh of water.
Oh, so you're dying in the submarine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could listen, according to this really, really good source that I found, this person has held a decent amount of wild dart frogs without gloves, and they're fine. Just wash your hands afterwards. And you have to be wary of cuts on your fingers. Don't touch the gold one, they said.
I was just thinking to myself that it's probably like a video game where you
They're
have to
all
look out
gold
for the
ones.
golden one.
They're all gold ones.
Wait,
They're all
you didn't
gold
specify
ones?
that in
Wait
the
a
question.
minute.
Change the question. They're all poisonous scorpions, venomous
Okay,
scorpions.
changing
now.
the
What are you gonna do?
question. Now the plane and the submarine are both the Titan submersible.
That does-
Wait.
okay.
Now the Titan submersible's how high in the air?
That was a bad question.
Mile high.
That's what I get for trying to think of one on my own. Okay.
No, that was a good one. I like that.
Our next segment for this episode is super serious.
Wait. I'm sorry. On the same thread, I found this one guy who said, I'm going to touch one and find out. The next comment is, any update on that? A response.
Love that.
I'll link it for you.
We'll put the link to the Reddit feed in the show notes as well.
Right, so what's our next segment?
We're gonna in the vein of fun facts and whether things are canon or not in the reality of all realities. We're gonna get into a super serious. We haven't done one of these in a while, so this is gonna be good.
No, because I'm so super serious.
So as per usual with this segment, the contestants are gonna get basically 3 factoids, 2 truths and a lie, essentially, and they're going to have to suss out which of the 3 is the falsity. And there are going to be 5 rounds, and if they can survive through all 5 rounds, they win. If they do not, then I win, because I am the one hosting the segment today. So, are we ready to get right into this thing?
This is the one where we need to be in consensus on what we're choosing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So here's the first set of 3. First off, grizzly bears can eat upwards of 300,000 moths a month. Second, lizards will always run west when startled. Third, There have been sharks on Earth for longer than there have been trees.
Ian, I think we're both going to agree on this one.
So we're looking for the lie, right? Okay. So it's the shark one is true. I think the bear one is true too. The lizard running west thing does not make any sense, because why would you always run west if the thing trying to eat you is to the west?
Yeah, it makes zero sense.
So I'm thinking it's the lizards running west one.
Yeah,
Locked
final
in?
answer.
Yeah, final answer.
All right, you guys passed the first
Okay.
tier. Editor, please put a yay in.
Yay! Okay, I'll do it. Yeah, or like a
Okay.
ding, yeah, something. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
next
we're doing
one,
that
next one.
now. That's canon for this segment.
Getting higher level editing happening here.
Yeah. Congratulations. All right, next.
Yo, I see what this is now. Okay.
All right, up next we have Garfield comic books are banned in Nepal for depictions of animal abuse.
What?
Okay.
It took humans less than 66 years from first discovering flight to landing a man on the moon.
Okay.
And the fax machine was invented at the same time that the Oregon Trail migration was occurring.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you do that last one more time?
The fax machine was invented at the same time the Oregon Trail migration was occurring.
Okay, so the
What
flight
the,
to
what
the
the fuck?
well, hold on. The flight to the moon one is true.
Well, do you know, like, what if it's 65 years?
Well, you said less than 66, right? Did you say less than 66?
I said less than 66.
Yeah, because I think the Wright brothers first flew in like 1902 or 1905, something like that, and then we went to the moon in the 60s. I'm pretty sure, like the late 60s. So, yeah, either Justin's just being a butthead and chose 66 instead of the actual answer, which is like 68 or something, which would be kind of mean, or that one's true. What was the first factoid you gave?
Garfield comics are banned in Nepal for depictions of animal abuse.
I believe it. I believe it 100%. You
yeah.
know how often Garfield punches... What's the name of that dog?
No idea.
Odie.
Odie the
yeah,
dog.
he beats Odie, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would assume... Wait, you said the fax machine?
Yes.
The Oregon Trail migration.
Yes.
That's the false one. Because
That has to be the false one.
The Oregon Trail one,
Wait.
didn't the Oregon Trail happen in like the 1800s? The fax machine wasn't invented until like the mid 90s. We weren't Oregon trailing in the 1900s.
Yeah. No, you know, the fax machine one is definitely wrong, but I think there might have been something else.
Maybe like a typewriter.
Yeah, maybe pigeon mail.
It's the fax machine one though. The fax machine does not coincide with Oregon Trail. It does not. That's what I'm saying.
Final answer for both of you?
Sure.
All right. You are eliminated.
No fucking way. When did the Oregon
I'm
Trail
fact-checking
happen?
you.
Yeah, when did the Oregon Trail happen?
1843.
The fax
Suckers.
machine was not invented in 1843.
The first fax machine, an electric printing telegraph, was invented by Alexander Bain in 1843, though the technology didn't become widely known until later.
Where did you get this info?
Google and Reddit.
Did you get it from their AI review?
No, multiple sources. Because I didn't believe it either when I saw it on the Reddit.
eFax. eFax.com is where you got this info.
I got
Shout
it
out
from-
eFax.
I got it from Reddit and then from multiple different links.
All right, hold on. I'm going to judge whether this fax machine can be a fax machine.
Okay, whatever. We're moving
The
on.
oldest? No, hold on. The oldest fax machine. This progressed to be the world's first fax machine. Okay, but what did it do? You can't
Okay.
just pass on
See,
this.
here's the first recognizable version of what we consider the telephone fax was invented in 1964. But the technology that led to that advancement was created much earlier in 1843. But it's the electric printing telegraph. It's not the fax machine of today. It's not the fax machine that
10,
any
18.
modern person would be familiar with.
All right, I'll give you guys a pass. I'll give you a pass.
How about the? No.
I'm just-
Here's
well,
what
no,
I want.
just the
I want the listeners. Listeners, email at us. Email us. Let us know. Let us know if you think this passes as a fax machine.
I'll give you a pass. It's fine. I'll give you a pass.
Well,
I'll give you a
just to be
pass.
clear, the only reason that I'm fighting on this is because, like, the current version of the fax machine uses telephone lines to send full images, and like that, there's no way that was happening in the 1800s. They were using it. They were using.
I think he printed it and then he like sent the paper somewhere.
Yeah, it was electric. No, it's an electric printing telegraph. So what happened was he had some sort of card that he would feed into the machine, and as it was going through the machine, it would have different letters correlate with those spaces in the machine, and then it would send the telegraph across the line, and then that's how it would send. It's not a fax machine.
It's stupid.
Whatever.
What did we say was the false one?
The Nepal one. It's banned in Nepal.
No, we said this was false.
The fax machine we said was
So
false.
wait,
but
what was false?
The false one was the
Garfield.
Nepal. Yeah. Garfield's not banned in Nepal.
But he does commit animal abuse.
He does. He does.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
All right, we're moving on. You ready for part 3?
Sure.
Since you both are technically still in, because
gonna-
I'll allow the
Gonna whine about it.
eccentricities of the fax machine thing. All right. Over 99% of all species to exist on Earth are extinct. Mushrooms are more closely related to humans than plants. And in the original comics, Superman could only leap tall buildings. It wasn't until the 1940s that he actually began to fly in the comics due to budgetary restrictions.
What are you talking about?
All three of
What do
those
you mean
things are true.
Budget restrictions.
It is true. In the original 1950s comic, he couldn't fly.
I thought his flight came from his ability to just jump really good.
In the original comics, he could only jump good. He could not fly.
Because of budget reasons, though? That seems
Yeah, I don't know.
that seems a little out there.
So I think the budget reason thing is just to add some credence to the factoid, but I do know that is true. I also know that it is correct that 99% of all species that have ever lived on this planet are now extinct, because we, as in all mammals, come from basically a single mammalian ancestor for the most part. Which means that the mushroom thing is the one that's incorrect, but I also feel like that one is correct. But I could be
it can't
wrong
be
on that.
wrong and right. Which one is it, Ian?
I don't know. This is hurting my brain because the first two I was positive were right. Then he said the Superman thing, which I also know is right. So it would have to be the mushroom one.
Well, hold on. There's some nuance to this.
No, the only
Because
one
he
I'm
said
not...
for budget reasons. He said for budget reasons on the Superman thing.
Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Helpline from the host. Does the budget... Can just to clarify, is the budget reason thing just like a adding to the fact, or are you going to be like, actually, they just did it because that's how they wanted to do it. There was no budget restrictions.
What do you mean? I literally took these from their sources and put them in the document.
Because Matt is harping on the fact that you said he didn't fly because of budgetary restrictions.
I took them from there. This is a truth that's hard to believe, or this is a falsity that almost could be true. Pages and pasted them.
I have a 75th anniversary of Superman book that has the a reprint of the first original comic, and I'm remembering it right now. He could not fly. He jumped. He was super strong, but that was it. He didn't fly.
Yeah, but for budget reasons, I don't know.
It's the mushroom one. It has to be the mushroom one.
because the mushrooms are kind of tasty.
That doesn't have anything to do
Plants
with
are
how
really
closely
tasty,
they're
too.
genetically related to us. Nope, now that I'm thinking about it, no, right. I think we are closer to plants than we are to fungi. I think that is
Prove
the
it.
case. I can't right now because that would be cheating.
Plants don't have lungs.
I think it's the mushroom one.
Final answer.
Well, I didn't say that.
Okay. You guys have to come to a consensus.
Great. I like this.
What do you think it is?
That's a good question. All three of these seem like they could be true.
That's the point of the game, yeah.
The mushroom one. Hold on, it was mushrooms, Superman, and space cadets.
No, mushrooms, Superman, and extinctions.
Oh, extinctions, 99%. I mean, maybe. Yeah, probably.
The planet Earth has gone through, I think, 6 mass extinction events.
Yeah, we've had so many. There's so many things that are just not around anymore.
Yeah.
We had woolly mammoths.
I'm almost positive it's the mushroom one because I'm starting to notice a pattern in these questions of there's one that seems really like it's probably true, but it just isn't because of one like real technical reason.
You know, I've heard this mushroom one before.
I've heard
and
it
usually
before too.
Comes from the same people who love to talk about eating the dogs, you know, or eating the cats. It's the same type of people.
Okay, so it's the mushroom one.
Or like the glasses of liquid. You know those people?
Mushrooms, final answer.
For both of you?
Well, I didn't say that.
Matt, pick something.
Well, probably mushrooms.
Okay, mushrooms, final answer.
Okay. Now you're both eliminated.
What the
It was a Superman?
Yes.
That's such what the
There's the Googling.
He couldn't fly.
He couldn't fly.
Until when?
Superman's abilities initially consisted of superhuman strength, speed, and durability, and he couldn't fly, but he could leap an eighth of a mile.
Until?
I don't know. You said in the first comics.
I said it wasn't until the 1940s.
Oh my. Okay.
He was incapable of flying in the 1940s. Where did you get this?
He was incapable of flying in the 1940s.
Yeah, you said until the 1940s.
I said it wasn't until the 1940s that he began to fly.
No!
Yeah, that's true. In February of 1940, he could fly. So it wasn't until the 1940s where he started flying. That was the truth.
What
We
the
were supposed
hell?
to find the lie. The lie is the mushroom one.
No, that one is also true. So somebody posted a true thing on that
So you
one.
win 3 truths and a truth.
All right, you guys are still in.
I'm starting to understand. I'm starting to understand how yours works. You just gaslight us and
No.
just sitting here-
Somebody posted a truth.
See, here's the thing.
Somebody posted a truth.
I gaslit myself because he's sitting here reading these facts. I'm like, yeah, that one's true.
No,
Yeah,
they
that
were
one's
just
true.
all true. That's crazy.
And then that
Until-
one's true. Wait a minute. There's supposed to be a lie somewhere, but they're all true. What is happening?
1944.
I thought it wasn't until the 50s that he started flying. That's
it
crazy.
says 1944 on this random website, and then it
Yeah,
says another
those
one on
are
this random website.
Inconsistent. Okay.
February of
Says something
1940, 1940s, he's flying. You know, I just, like,
Okay.
you could just Google when did Superman first fly, and the first 8 links are like the 1940s.
Yeah,
No,
that's crazy.
actually, the first one says he could not fly in the 1940s.
He couldn't fly when he first appeared in 1938. And then in the early 1940s, there were comics where he could fly.
All right.
What is going
So
on?
that one was an idiot.
What is going on
Reddit.
with this segment right now?
All right, we're moving on. You guys are both still in.
Well, of course, we're both still in. We have to come to a consensus.
Congratulations. I
So we're
bestow
either
upon
both
you
in
the
or
grace.
both out.
I
Are we
bestow
supposed to-
upon you the
Are
grace
we
of still being in. Okay. All right. Ready?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
ready.
starting
for
to think that fact checkers are
for your
necessary.
two truth now.
No,
Community
no.
notes.
We're gonna do community notes. We're gonna
Two
do
truths and a
community
truth.
notes.
Here we go.
All right. Here we go. There was an actual vigilante that ran rampant in Philadelphia for 2 years during
my
the
God.
1920s, known as the Donkey. He sustained 2 gunshot wounds during his tenure before he retired.
Why would he call himself that? Okay.
I
Martin
like that
Luther
one.
King Jr. and Anne Frank were born 6 months apart. Domesticated dogs are responsible for 30,000 to 40,000 deaths per year.
Okay.
Mm.
The MLK and Anne Frank one makes sense to me because he died in the early 60s, which would mean that he was probably born in like the mid to late 30s, which is around the time that Anne Frank would have been about that age during World War II. So that makes sense. I mean, whether it's 6 months or 8 months apart, I don't know, but the math kind of checks out. That's probably true.
Well, going how we're going, we're gonna have to fact check whatever he's saying here.
So, okay, we'll just work backwards and then complain about it.
I'm already
afterwards.
on it.
So he's already fact checking it.
Imagine not fact-checking pre-recorded.
I had already done it, but apparently my first one was wrong.
Okay. So pretty sure the MLK one is right. So that leaves the domestic dog's death thing, and then the donkey.
This is a tough one.
This one's tough. Yeah.
Because the donkey's kind of crazy, and I want to believe it.
It's Philadelphia. It's probably true.
But I don't want to believe the dog thing.
But here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. It's probably the wrong one is probably the donkey because he sustained 4 gunshot wounds, not 2.
Watch all 3 of these be truths.
No,
That'd be
all
crazy,
all
actually.
3 of these are actually false.
Yeah.
Justin's over there like, oh damn, they are. Oh no.
No, I fact checked.
It's actually 2 false ones and a truth.
Gosh. That was the way I was trying to play it the first time we did this.
I'm bringing the revolver bit back.
Okay, so the MLK one is MLK and Frank. That one's probably true. There's the donkey. And what was the statistic for the dogs? 30,000 deaths?
30,000 to 40,000 deaths.
30,000. That's worldwide.
Oh.
I'm gonna double check that.
Yeah, double check that. Because if it's worldwide, I'm pretty sure that one's true. If it's like in the US or in like, the UK or our friends in Rwanda.
No, they don't. They don't have dogs killing them in Rwanda.
I'm just saying some recent analytics have shown that we have a following in Rwanda. So my Rwandan friends, thanks for listening.
Worldwide.
This was the perfect time to shout out our Rwandan brethren.
Yeah, because here's the thing. We all forgot about it until right then. So you know what? There it is.
I was just looking for the right time.
It's worldwide.
I was.
It's worldwide.
40,000 worldwide.
I would say that's probably true then.
Yeah, it can't be Australia though. Because those are not domestic.
That's true. They're wild dogs.
Yeah.
I would
What
say,
do they call them? Are they dingoes? Is that what they call them?
No, dingoes are different. They're literally like Australian wild dogs. That's what they're called.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wild
but they're
dogs.
they're not dingoes. Those are different things. I'm pretty sure.
What are dingoes?
They're not wild dogs. They're like kind of like wolf coyote equivalents type things. I think. I could be wrong about
not
that.
domesticated dogs.
They're not domesticated dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. Anyway.
So I think the dog one might be true. The MLK one's probably true. But then there's the red herring. There's the donkey.
Yeah, there's no way we can prove if that one's true or not.
Yeah. There's no logical reasoning you can do with that because it's Philadelphia and it's a vigilante from the 1920s called the Donkey.
If we get it wrong, I'm just gonna complain anyway. So
I don't. So the number is supposed to be worldwide. Domestic dogs are responsible for 30 to 40,000 deaths a year, right? That's the factoid.
That's the factoid.
And then the other one is you said the 1920s. A vigilante known as the Donkey got shot a couple of times and then retired. What was the rest of the thing? What was the middle part?
Just that the wording is there was an actual vigilante that ran rampant in Philadelphia for 2 years during the 1920s, known as the Donkey. He sustained 2 gunshot wounds during his tenure before he retired.
The 1920s. The 1920s. The Roaring 20s, as some call them. The Golden Age.
No, the Gilded Age. Get it right.
The Gilded? I'm going to call it the Golden Age.
My God.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when the Golden Girls were born. That's so wrong.
I don't even want to call you on it because it's like...
Sorry, it's just the Golden Age. Gilded Age.
I don't know. Which one do you think it is, Matt? Which one do you think it is? I'm done
We
leading
gotta go
this.
with the donkey, right?
The donkey's the false one?
I'm just thinking that one is the hardest one for me to like
substantiate because
Yeah.
the statistical probability that 30 to 40,000 people out of 7 billion, actually I think it's 8 billion, die every year because of domestic dogs. Like I could believe that. I could see that as a real statistic. So that could be the true one. But you know what? That's probably the false one because Justin just comes up with, as we've seen. So I'll
So we're
choose.
locking in.
I think the donkey's the fake one. Yeah.
All right, let's lock it in.
You are
Eliminated again?
correct.
Okay.
I'm looking this up.
Correct that we're eliminated or correct that the
No,
donkey
you're
doesn't-
correct that that's the false one.
Okay.
There was no donkey.
Donkey!
There never was.
Well, there was in the 1920s. It was a prominent symbol of the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
you know?
well, but there was no vigilante. This one,
Well, they
it
kind
was
of are.
there was more. It was more exaggerated when I first pulled it because they also went on to say that he was like the basis for Batman and Superman. And I was like, oh, they're really not going to buy it if I include that little bit, so I cut that out.
Nice. So we've got one more, right? Okay. Okay.
Here it is, the final facts
The
set.
2 lies and a truth. What do you
A
got?
5-ounce swallow can carry a 5-pound coconut. Lions can leap forward 36 feet. And there are sharks alive today that were born before George Washington.
Ooh. Well, the lion one's definitely true. I know that for a fact.
What can the Lions do?
They can leap forward 36 feet. And I
Okay.
know that's true specifically because he specified how they leap. Because I've seen this fact before and people misconstrued it as they could jump 36 feet in the air, which doesn't make any sense. But...
No, they got wizard lions, dude. They're
Yeah.
casting jump on themselves.
So the kid... So the lion one is true. A 5-ounce swallow, this is a bird, can carry a 5-pound coconut. Carry. When you say carry, do you mean like lift into the air and fly with it, or like push it?
A 5-ounce swallow can carry a 5-pound coconut.
Now, I
Like
need
on
more
its
context
back?
in that. Is it carrying it like in the air?
I didn't
or-
write the fact.
I need more context. Like, there's so many ways that you could carry something, but it's a bird that can fly. So, like, is it flying with the coconut, or is it just moving it?
I don't know.
This is a really tough one because there's no way that the 5-ounce swallow is lifting it into the air.
No,
It
there's
just
no way.
It loses the ability to fly at that point.
Yeah,
so
it's encumbered. So,
It's only
Damn it,
fat
the DM's
rolling.
working with encumbrance.
yeah.
It's only fat rolling. Like, it's not going to be able to dodge the bigger hits for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, my first inclination is the swallow, like, because that just seems ridiculous. But the third one, what was the third one again? I'm sorry.
There are sharks alive today that were born before George Washington.
I believe
See,
that.
If you said crocodiles, I would immediately believe that.
No, I would believe the shark one too.
Yeah, because crocodiles are like functionally immortal.
I think it's the swallow one because I know for a fact that the lion jumping thing is true. I also know that sharks live a long time.
They
If
do
they're
live a
not-
long time.
If they're not killed, they live a long time.
or do something stupid.
Right, if they don't do something that gets them killed, they live a long time.
Yeah.
Some sharks. So I think it's the swallow one.
He didn't specify like what kind of shark though.
He said there are some sharks.
He
So,
said there are some sharks. So
there
there's
are
probably
some
some sharks. There might even be one shark. Is it? If it's only one shark, does that count as a lie? Like, is this what we're doing these days?
There are some sharks. False, because in order for there to be some sharks, there has to be more than one, and there's only one that's that old.
Before George Washington, though.
You know, no, I think
That's
this is
a long time.
I think this is another red herring. I think this is another like, oh, it's some crazy ass swallow that can do some crazy ass.
He said 5 ounce. It's
It's
a
a
5
5
ounce
ounce.
swallow.
It's
It
less than
can't
half a
fly.
pound. It's like a quarter pound. It's a quarter pound.
This is too.
So, well, hold on, wait a second. No, that doesn't. Wait, a 5 pound. That's like that would be like 20 times its own body weight. There's no way.
With
There's
its
no
hollow
way.
little bones.
There's absolutely no way. And if you tell us that we're wrong and that the swallow can carry a 5 pound coconut,
We're gonna complain.
we're gonna get. It's the swallow. It's the swallow. Are you gonna lock in
He's
with me, Matt?
laughing. He's laughing because his fact didn't take into account that the bird can't fly with it, so how is it carrying it? No, it's rolling it around, and they're counting that as carrying, because otherwise, like, because it's not flying with that coconut. And you know what's even crazier?
Yeah, because
like,
I asked the question, and it went, "This is the factoid."
And then all that image evokes is it's wrapping its wings around this coconut and lifting it off the ground. And we know that's not happening. Like, the next thing you know, this is going to be a short on TikTok, and they're going to be telling us, well, actually, the swallow has teeth.
Actually, the swallow is Superman from the 1930s.
So, he could lock in?
No! I hate this because you're wording it in such a way that it's like, it's technically true, but you didn't have enough information to be able to know that.
Well, I think that's the fun of this segment, but, like, what's annoying is, like, when we're playing semantics here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing.
Maybe you guys would like to spell some words in another language.
You know what? I have an idea. Let's do a completely different question. So I'm going to give you guys 2 truths and a lie. Here's the first 2 truths. Wait. All right, Monster Hunter came out February 28th.
Stop. Look, we just need to pick. This episode's running pretty long. We need to pick something. What are we picking?
I'm picking the swallow. I'm not changing. I'm mad. I'm mad that we're getting this wrong. But I refuse to be wrong.
Look,
the swallow's not picking up that coconut. It's not carrying
Man of principle.
the coconut.
I'm going to change.
Man of principle.
Look, I am changing the Spotify poll to "Was the swallow question?" That's what I'm changing the poll to. Okay, a 5-ounce swallow cannot carry in any way a 5-pound coconut. It could potentially move it. It could move a 5-pound coconut. It is. That little 5-ounce hollow-boned swallow is not putting something that weighs 20 times its own weight on its back and moving it. It's not.
So are you locking in?
Yeah, I'm locking in the swallow.
So you're both locked in on that one?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's the wrong one?
That is the one that is false.
That's the one that's false.
Let me clarify. It is not able to pick up the coconut. It cannot pick up a 5-pound coconut.
Yeah.
It can move the coconut. It cannot carry it.
Yep. That's right. You guys are locked in?
Yes. It's locked. Yeah, we're locked in.
Okay. You're right.
God, oh my God. I hate this.
You guys are such conspiracy theorists and such red
conspiracy.
pilled.
It's not conspiracy.
You're so red pilled.
You do this all the time.
I didn't do this all the time. I made one mistake on this section and everybody freaked out.
You made 2 mistakes.
I made 2 mistakes. Okay.
2 pretty big mistakes.
What was the first one?
The first one was he thought a fax machine.
It wasn't my fault. It was Reddit's fault. Okay.
He trusted Reddit instead of corroborating his sources.
Did they call it a fax machine?
It was, and it was not only Reddit.
A fax machine?
It's an electronic something telegraph. Hold on. I'm gonna look up the.
It was Reddit and Google's fault. They collaborated. It
was an electronic printing telegraph. It was a telegraph. It was
not called a fax machine.
It's not a fax machine.
It was we later called it a mechanical fax. We were rewriting history to say, oh, well, technically this is the first fax.
They used the word fax.
He didn't.
I don't care. Reddit and Google both told me. Reddit and Google both told me.
I'll tell you
right.
Media.
I will tell you the same thing. I'll tell you the same thing that I tell the students that I work with. Google, Reddit, and Wikipedia are not sources. They are not sources.
Yeah, so stop donating to Wikipedia, guys. Don't give them a single penny.
I didn't use Wikipedia.
I'm just saying. I just bundled.
Trust me, bro.
I just bundled it in there. Okay, it's just.
I have the perfect title for this episode. Okay. This is the misinformation episode. This is the misinformation episode. We've got sources, trust me, bro, on the on the poison dart frogs, and then we've got this mess.
Yeah, this is the fax machine thing, and then the three truths. The three truths that blew my brain up because I'm like, they're all right. I don't know what.
2 truths and a truth. You won't
Two
be
truths and a
ready.
truth.
What are we playing here? What is this game?
Okay.
What does that even mean?
I like
This has
when
been
I
Humor
run the
Highwire.
segments.
Yeah. All right, everybody. This episode ran a little long. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for staying with us to the end. See you later. Bye.